friends, it's time once again for Once More with Feelings. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth, and we are an emotional journey podcast. We watch movies, we talk about how we feel. Pretty simple.
Pretty much. This week, we decided to go a little bit off the beaten trail. We've been doing a lot of fiction.
Comedies.
And comedies, because that's our go-to. It's our comfort zone. But we decided to do a based on a true story, and we went for one that the individual who did it, whose story this is, said it was 98% accurate, which was one of my clues last week, and that is Erin Brockovich.
Yeah, it's a 2000 American biographical legal drama, directed by Steven Soderbergh, and written by Susanna Grant. The film is a dramatization of the true story of Erin Brockovich, portrayed by Julia Roberts, who initiated a legal case, not Julia Roberts, Erin Brockovich, initiated a legal case against the Pacific Gas and Electric Company, PG&E, over its culpability for the Hinkley groundwater contamination incident. Erin Brockovich premiered in Los Angeles on March 14, 2000. And it was released theatrically in the United States by Universal Pictures on March 17th and internationally by Columbia Pictures. It emerged as a critical and commercial success, grossing $256.3 million worldwide. And why does that matter? It means people saw it, and I think it was because of Julia Roberts. But I think it slid in as an environmental film.
And it really is an environmental film, and it is definitely an important window into the horrific ecological blights that we put upon our country and our planet. And
our world, yeah.
Yeah.
So Steven Soderbergh, just want to point out, he also directed Sex, Lies, and Videotape and Traffic, two pretty...
Very different. All three of them very different movies.
Very different, but all very... centered on emotional...
Oh, Rob Lowe.
There's this emotional darkness that a lot of these things attach to.
Yes. I literally forgot about... I see Rob Lowe now and, Chris Traeger, and I forget that he had a controversy.
It is easy to get lost in the Chris Traeger of things.
Yeah, because I had to remember that he's not Chris Traeger.
And it's easy to not see him in other things and think, that's the same guy as Chris Traeger.
Yeah. Well, and also the way his son makes fun of him on social media is funny as can be.
Here's what I love, though. Despite the controversies he's had and the things he's done, these other roles kind of define him as a human being.
Oh, no, I agree.
It lets you see that he's just more than one thing. And yes, sex was a big part of his life. Just was.
Look at him.
Yeah. Also, he was sexualized.
Yes. No, he was, because he was part of the Brat Pack. And,
right.
Just, a little FYI, not only do we have our resident cat boy, Blue, in the studio, we have Poe once again joining us, and you may hear her mowing, licking. Right now she's playing with my sleeve and eating her toes.
But she may have to feed.
She might have to eat.
We'll just deal with that.
Yes.
So Susanna Grant, the writer, the one that wrote this,
yes, also
wrote one of my favorite films, 28 Days.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's crazy.
That kind of, I could see that, though.
Right.
There's a humanity there. I can totally see that. Because she writes humanity really well.
I think so. I think that's true.
So, I have a lot of feelings about this movie. First off, before we even get into the movie itself, I feel it is important to talk about what happened in Hinkley, and not because we usually talk about the characters and the way the movie itself makes us feel. But this is a different type of a movie.
We should talk about the background because it is the basis for this movie. Mm-hmm. What happened that caused this movie to even need to be made?
Exactly. So, PG&E, Pacific
Gas and Electric.
Gas and Electric. I didn't grow up in California. I lived in California for a few years, and when we were there, we used to call them Pacific Grift and Extortion. So I actually had to stop myself from saying that. So yes,
I knew that. That's why I was saying it.
Pacific Gas and Electric is the main power company in California, and they had a location. I didn't really look up all of the details. That is on me. But basically, one of their byproducts was hexavalent chromium, and it was leaching into the water. And it started. I didn't actually.
From the 1950s.
It was in the 1950s.
Yes.
There's a reason why I don't have that information, but that's on me. I got sidetracked by my own.
I've actually got a rundown of the entire
Why don't you do
thing.
Hinckley? Because I have all the information in front of me from my other.
Sure. So the Hinckley contamination case is a real life case. It's an actual case. The discovery investigation started in 1993. Erin Brockovich, a single mother who had no formal training, was working as a file clerk for the attorney Ed Massery. While interviewing, and this goes right along with the movie, so it's going to seem like I'm rehashing the movie. I'm not. This is what actually happened versus what you will see in the movie. While reviewing real estate files, she noticed that there were medical records linked to the property and didn't know why. So she had to go find that out because she's a curious person. And that's when we find out that the contamination, the PG&E used chromium-6, which is the hexavalent chrome.
Hexavalent chromium.
Hexavalent chromium.
Valent, yes, hexavalent. You're right.
Valent. Valent or valent?
It's VALENT, so I think it's valent.
Valent or valent?
But I don't know.
I don't know.
It was pronounced valent, I think, in the movie.
Chromium-6.
Yes, chromium-6.
Between 1952 and 1966, which is used to prevent rust in cooling towers and different situations, but in this instance, for their cooling towers for their compressor plant. And that's the one based in Hinckley.
Yes.
Wastewater containing that chemical was dumped into unlined ponds, and it allowed that chromium-6 to seep into the groundwater, along with other things, but that was the main component. So those residents started reporting illnesses, nosebleeds, rashes, asthma, miscarriages, and cancers, and this is what started all of that. So Erin helped build that case for that situation. At the time, the legal protections, which are, again, returning, are mainly aimed for the company, not for the people around that company.
Exactly.
So they're kind of allowed to harm people with impunity so long as they can have deniability, reasonable deniability. So this is why Erin was busy building this case, using Massery's firm, and eventually represented 634 plaintiffs. And in 1996, PG&E settled for $333 million, the largest direct action settlement in U.S. history. And I can guarantee you, after that settlement, many very large corporations decided it was time to lobby the fuck out of the justice system.
Yep.
So we're going to see, after that direct action settlement, I'm sure there were so many laws that were changed during that time to protect the companies.
Oh, yeah, no. And they, even at the end of the movie, it explains that PG&E now lines their wastewater ponds so that way there's no leachage. They they have to take these precautions, which again, that all may go in the past.
These are their claims, though.
This is their claims, but based on what the movie was saying.
Yeah, but PG&E can claim a lot of things. I'm gonna always defer to the people that were harmed.
Oh no, I 100%.
Because no one's getting cancer so that they can get a payout. That's not happening.
No. So Mike, what I think is important is now.
Oh, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Let me go through the aftermath of this entire thing because this is not the part of the movie.
No,
this is not in the movie. The aftermath and the ongoing impact of this is that regardless of the settlement or the money they got, it didn't end with the movie.
No.
Many residents continue to suffer health issues. They were relocated, and PG&E has spent decades cleaning up their own mess. They're not cleaning up other people's messes. They're not helping anyone.
No.
They are having to do this because they messed up.
Yep.
The town of the Hinckley area has largely become a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
So it is no longer really livable. I'm sure there are people still living there, but it is very small.
Yes.
Erin Brockovich has remained an outspoken environmental advocate, including cases that involve Flint, Michigan, and East Palestine, Ohio. These are two very big things that have been in the news for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So just wanted to throw that out there that this is not something that ended on a high note. They got money to survive.
They got money to survive.
Pay for medical bills.
Exactly, because it's not like a switch went off and all of a sudden they were cured.
Right.
They still had cancer. That little girl still died. And
this is an emotional-based podcast, so I just want to say fuck you, PG&E.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you to all these big companies that deny that they're doing anything wrong until it comes down to a lawsuit. So what is a Superfund? That is what happens, is these sites become Superfund sites based on EPA. And a Superfund site is a contaminated area that is identified by the EPA as needing long-term cleanup. I grew up in Ocean County, New Jersey, and I always knew about Ciba-Geigy. We always heard about Ciba-Geigy. Ciba-Geigy was part of the cancer cluster from 1970 to 1995, a huge childhood cancer cluster.
Right.
So you knew about this. We always knew about this. But what I did in my research was I found out that Ciba-Geigy is one of 9 Superfund sites in Ocean County. I had no idea. It has the most Superfund sites than any other county in the United States.
It's like living constantly. These people living there are living constantly under the sword of Damocles.
How I don't have cancer, I don't understand. I grew up in...
But you don't even know how it's affected you. You don't know what it's done to you.
It's my ADD.
Not just cancer. We're talking about a myriad effects. You have asthma.
I have asthma, yes.
There are so many things that could be causing these.
You know, my children and their health issues, you know, we had well water, but that doesn't mean anything.
Your body, you know, the human body tries to adapt to its environment, but the environment, if it's toxic, it messes up your ability to adapt and it changes that ability.
So the next biggest one, and this is what they're calling part of the issue with the cancer cluster in Toms River, well, in Ocean County. It was mostly in Dover Township, Toms River. So Ciba-Geigy, it was a factory that created dyes, particularly a magenta shade that they used they actually had byproducts of epoxy resins, plastics, and then the pigment had byproducts.
Right.
But what I didn't know was that about Reich Farms. So Reich Farms was a husband and wife who had egg farms. And I know about the egg farms because the old house we lived in was part of the old egg farms in that area. Toms River was huge egg farm area.
Yeah.
And ours was an old egg farm that had been like a 300-acre farm. It had been broken down into pieces. And by the time I lived there, it was like just under 2 acres. And so Reich Farm, the husband and wife, they realized that once things were starting to go, you know, like with automation and refrigeration, it was harder for them to keep up. So they decided to make a deal with Union Carbide, and they allowed Union Carbide to dump their stuff on their property, basically to hold their stuff on their property.
Right.
Mutagens ended up on leaching into the water table. So again, I didn't know any of this, and we had well water, which always freaks me out now looking back at it. But Ciba-Geigy became a Superfund in 1983, and it had been there since 1952. So from 1952 until 1983, they were leaching into the area. And then on top of that, Reich Farms was doing it as well with the mutagens.
Right.
So y'all, it comes down to, this is Sarah. So CERCLA, I don't know if you know about CERCLA. This was started in 1980. It's a Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation and Liability Act. basically stating that if there's a company that is destroying your environment, that you do have rights to fight against them. But a lot of people didn't know about that. So that's why we have cases like the Hinckley case and Erin Brockovich, where the people just didn't realize they could fight back against this company.
Right. And Erin now has an entire company that is dedicated to this type of thing.
Exactly. I think it's important to know about the Superfund sites in your area. If you are curious, I will have Beth place the link to the EPA site.
And I will do so.
So you can look up your state and your county and find out. We actually did that and found out that there's actually one Superfund site in our area. There are 1,340 Superfund sites in the United States currently active. Or I'm not sure if they're all active at this moment, but I know the one by us has been deemed cleared enough for them to start selling the property for different reasons.
Well, they're not on the NPL list.
They're not. And I think they had been at one point because mercury was involved, but it has they've cleaned up the leaches and the barrels of mercury that they've removed from that area. And what's funny is we travel that road very often and had no idea. But it makes sense because it is kind of a desolate road, and they're only just now building it up, and it is in our industrial-ish kind of area.
I think a lot of times it's not that it's been cleaned up necessarily, it's just that people forget to be afraid of it.
Maybe that is it.
And honestly, it's bad. It's a bad thing to forget these things. It should be handed down to your children, letting them know this place is dangerous.
Yeah.
Be aware that this is happening.
Exactly.
Don't keep them ignorant of it. So let's talk about the movie. And I know this is very important, but we're going to talk about this throughout the movie itself. So let's just talk about...
So I think, really quickly, I think it's funny that Julia Roberts played Erin Brockovich, but Erin Brockovich had a small part in the movie as Julia the waitress.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Julia the waitress was played by Erin, and Julia played Erin.
I think that's fair play.
I think that is fair play.
I hope she got to stay in her mansion for a little while. So yeah, Julia Roberts plays Erin Brockovich. Just going to go through the main cast real quick. Albert Finney is Ed Massery.
I love Albert Finney.
Who does a fantastic job of not seeming British.
I know. And okay, so what is your favorite Albert Finney historically? I have a distinctly favorite Albert Finney movie.
I don't know that I have a favorite.
My favorite is Albert Finney, and this is because of my mom. His version of A Christmas Carol, when he sings. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's weird, right?
That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Okay, sorry, I had to do that. But that is my favorite Albert Finney, and I've seen him in so many things, but that is my go-to Albert Finney. The
strangest biker in the world is Aaron Eckhart, sporting lamb chops. It's very weird. He plays George, Erin's biker neighbor who becomes her love interest. Now, in the movie, he gets to be at the end, in which she tells one of the defendants,
Donna Jensen, I believe.
Yeah, Donna, that she's going to get some money, and she's so thankful. And he gets to be there, but George does not stay. They are not together.
No,
he died of a brain tumor.
I did not know that.
But he always stayed friends with Erin.
That's cool.
He was a caregiver for the children.
Oh, he loved those kids. Yeah, you can tell that.
So he never stopped being that. I think that's pretty decent. I think there were times in the movie I was very indignant.
Oh, well, yeah, because he was being,
But I think we don't live that life.
No, that's
so
true.
We have to understand that other people can be frustrated about different things, even though we're seeing the overarching story.
Yes.
So Marge Holdenberger plays Donna Jensen, one of the Hinckley residents. Tracy Walter plays Charles Embry. Peter Coyote plays Kurt Potter. He's not in there very much, but he's in there. He's such a startling, oh God, this is he's like Julia Roberts, like hotness, I guess, like he's like right there. You're like, oh, that's two big stars like in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
In which, see, Albert Finney is a big star, but he's lived in.
He is.
He feels lived in. He's like the comfy couch that you love.
The thing about Albert Finney is he's very chameleon-like. So, like, you can put him in so many roles and he fits it. Like, he can make himself fit the role.
He ties the room together. He's
he
that
really
rug.
Does.
Yeah, he's the rug in
I love him.
The Big Lebowski. Not literally. He's not the rug because they have someone else play that. Cherry Jones is Pamela Duncan, who is another resident. And there's a lot it goes on. There's a lot of actors.
It's a huge cast.
I wanted to hit the main cast so that we didn't forget to mention them. So, Erin's arc. This is Erin's story. Mm-hmm. It is the story of PG&E's dastardly deeds done dirt cheap.
Neglect. Yeah.
But this is Erin's arc because she starts out and ends both ways this messy, raw human.
Yes.
And we are all messy. Anyone that says they're not or acts like they are not messy is just putting a facade up because inside we are all messy people. And Erin is no different. She is messy, she is raw, but she is smart, she is whip smart, and maybe a little bit too smart sometimes to deal with, to suffer fools.
Yes. And the thing, and she's down to earth. So she knows how to talk to the people of Hinckley without making them feel stupid. And I don't think later on when that one lawyer, Teresa, when she's talking to the families, I don't think she's trying to make them feel stupid. She's just talking legalese, and she's also talking, I don't want you to use your emotions. She's being very succinct. I have been blamed for that myself. When it comes to, like, when I send an email or something, I've had people say, oh, you're too cold in your emails. I'm like, no, I'm just telling you, boom, 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 boom. This is what I need you to do. Or this is what I'm looking for. And I try not to put emotion in it because I can be very emotional. And that's what she was doing, was she was like, okay, this is what we need. And because this is what the judge is going to want to hear. He's not going to want to hear the emotional side of this.
Ultimately, though, they did not see her as one of them. And they saw Erin as a human being first and something else second.
Exactly. And I think that and the fact that so Erin Brockovich herself, like I said, she said that this was about 90% accurate. She said that Massey was not her lawyer in the beginning.
Right. When
she went for the accident. She also said she did not use her body to get people's attention. The way Julia Roberts does kind of do that with the water guys.
Right.
But and I think that was it really, that she said that was really the only things that she thought were not as accurate as they could have been. But everything else she said was pretty accurate to her, to the way she remembered it.
Right.
Which is pretty impressive.
So she starts out as a struggling single mother, and of course she continues that throughout the film. Mm-hmm. But she gets involved in a car accident, and she's unable to find work, and that's where she gets attached to Ed Massery.
Yes.
In the movie.
Yes.
And throughout her trying to find a job, she resorts to going back to Ed Massery even after she lost the case, and just starts working there.
Yep. She's like, you promised me, you said this was gonna, I was gonna win this case, and I did not win this case, so I'm gonna get it from you then. I'm going to
start working. I can work. I want to work.
And he liked her moxie.
Well, he didn't like her moxie. He was pissed off at her, but he didn't. Also, he's got ultimately a kind heart.
He does. He really does.
And she does have moxie. Mm-hmm. Now, the fact that she has moxie doesn't mean that he enjoyed that. It just means she had it, at the time. Mm-hmm. So I think that to me, that feels like that frustration. Everyone knows the frustration of being unemployed and desperately seeking a way to pay your bills, to live any kind of life, and especially when you have children. Yes. It's compounded with this. I don't even know how. I honestly don't know how single mothers do it.
When she's sitting there at the diner, and she letting the kids pick out their food, and she doesn't have anything.
I immediately thought of you.
That I've been there. And the thing is that I didn't take them out to the diner. That was just the food in our house.
But you ate popcorn instead.
I ate popcorn and drank lots of coffee. But my kids got to have, they had chicken and hot dogs and they had fish, and we went to Aldi's, and, I can make $100 go for a whole week. And that was when you could do that anyway. And, I fed the kids, and they're the ones who ate. And they were, again, coffee was coming from my in-laws because my mother-in-law, ex-mother-in-law, had Javalia.
Yeah.
She had a thing with them where they would send her coffee every month. And so she always had too much. So she was giving me coffee. So I had free coffee coming in. And so, yeah, between coffee and popcorn. That's what I lived on.
I mean, you do what you have to do. I don't understand, because I never lived that way.
Uh-huh.
I never had to do that, is be a single parent and try to find a way to make it work with just me. And I think it's so much easier to share your life, your troubles and everything with the spouse. And I've kind of always had that with a child. Now, when I was alone, it was just me, so I wasn't that worried about it.
Yeah.
If I don't eat, I don't eat. But you can't do that with children.
Nope. They have to eat, unfortunately.
Right now, baby is eating.
Yes.
The kitty is eating. So you're going to hear a lot of little noises there.
After she's done attacking it.
So after she gets the job and stuff, she actually falls into this Hinckley resident issue.
Yeah, she's told to file these papers.
Right.
And she's like, but wait a minute. Why are there medical records associated with land, real estate?
Right, but the whole thing is that Erin finds herself building it's adorable. Building the emotional basis for her fight.
Yes.
Because she doesn't just see this. It starts out curiosity.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it quickly becomes an emotional foundation for her to help others.
It's when you get the outrage of what the hell is happening here, and you find out. And and the way she finds out is so, like, blasé in a way. So she goes to see Donna Jensen, and Donna's like, well, yeah, the doctors came. Well, why did the doctors come? Oh, because of the chromium.
Yeah.
And it was very blasé and kind of just, like...
Well, because she was told, that, and PG&E had purported that
it wasn't doing anything.
The chromium is good for your body. Well, because some chromium is. So they misrepresented themselves by saying that particular chromium, which is chromium 6, is much more like chromium 3.
Yeah.
And it is not.
It is not.
It belongs to the same family, but it is not the same thing. It's much like arsenic and old lace. Old lace is fine. Stupid, but it's fine. But you don't want to wear arsenic.
It's like eating an apple or eating a metric ton of apple seeds. One is going to keep you happy. One's going to make you healthy, and the other one is going to eventually give you arsenic poisoning.
I think it's a misappropriated analogy, but I'll let it go.
You said arsenic, and my brain went to apple seeds. So there you go.
That's what I was going with, but I was making fun of the fact that yours was more succinct than mine. I was making a joke.
Fine.
And I had to explain it, so it wasn't a funny joke at all. So after starting this whole thing, before she even really starts it, she meets George.
Yes. And
because she has a messy life, her life gets messier.
Mm-hmm.
She is broke. Everybody knows that desperation of being broke. But on top of that, now she's got this drive, this thing to see this thing through because it's wrong.
Yes.
And what's right is right. And she says that many times during the movie, is that doing the right thing means more.
And doing the right thing, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And she does make sacrifices.
She makes more than most people because they have the privilege to not have to make those sacrifices.
Exactly.
Erin does not have that privilege. Being a pretty young, female woman, cis woman, doesn't give her enough privileges to get by without damage.
No.
And she has been through several divorces. One of the reasons probably that we see in the movie why she lost her case is because they started seeing her as a promiscuous person who was down on their luck and wanted money for their car wreck.
How was she supposed to know that the asshole who T-boned her... Now, granted, she did run a red light. But...
Well, she didn't run a red light.
She didn't run a red light.
It turned green very quickly. She got up to it while it was red and it turned green, so she just kept going.
Yeah, which, she had the right to because it was green. How was she supposed to know that the guy in the sports car was going to T-bone her, that he was a doctor?
I'd say T-bone, except he didn't T-bone her, he hit her in the back panel.
Oh, well, I mean...
Which in most cases would signify that he's wrong no matter what.
Oh, yeah, because she was in motion and he hit the back end of her, yeah.
But we're not here to discuss law. We would be wrong anyway because none of us are lawyers.
No, but there's just the fact that that's what the lawyers were going at, because at one point that's what they said. Did you see, a doctor in a expensive sports car? How the fuck was she supposed to determine that while driving down the road? I often drive down the road and look at people's cars and go, "Oh, well, that's definitely a lawyer. Let me get some money from that bitch."
Well, they can suppose how rich that person is by the car they're driving.
Yeah, but even then.
Sure. But my thing is that Erin starts building trust with the people she's talking to, not just the residents of Hinckley.
Yeah.
But with the people that she works around. Not necessarily some of the receptionists.
No.
Who seem very cold, but then again, she's very abrupt. And I think that a lot of that has to do with she's just endured a lot of bullshit from people, and she has very little, ability to suffer the foolishness of others when she has something that needs to get done. So Ed comes and talks to her and gives her some files, and she's sitting at, I think, Anna's desk. Sure.
And he says, where is she? And she's like, oh, she's at girls' lunch. And then he comes back and he goes, aren't you a girl? And she's like, yeah. Well, why aren't you at girls' lunch? And she's like, I guess I'm just not that kind of girl.
Not the right girl.
I'm not the right girl. To me, I know that they're insinuating it's because of her clothing and her brusqueness. I don't dress like that. And I am not brusque when it comes to new people and in my environments. I'm actually disgustingly nice, and I hate myself for it because sometimes I feel like the words that are in my head are not the ones coming out my mouth. And I'm never invited to those lunches either. So I know how that feels. Women are a bunch of catty bitches. Y'all don't understand how much we should all be like on the same side. Because of the way that women are treated, we should all be on the same side. But no, y'all just side with the men and treat women like shit. And you don't understand how much pain you cause.
It's furthering the abuse that you already have. It's forwarding trauma. That's what people do. I feel the same way. At my job, I'm fairly accepted. Or at least I've not gotten a whole lot of pushback for being me, which would be weird. It's like I don't push you back for being a dickhead, which is a personality trait, not even who you are. So women will not ask me to go out to lunch with them. They'll go to lunch, but I don't get asked. The men don't even talk to me.
I get that. I mean, like I remember going to a convention with my friends who I saw as my friends with the Honor Society that I'm a part of. And they were all making plans to go do something after the convention. And I was in the middle of it and not even asked once to come with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but we literally live in the same town. So we're all going to be going to the same area. Yeah, we all came in different cars. So it's not like any of us carpooled. And I was not invited to go. And it really struck me how little importance that I have in people, to other people, not you, but like to other people outside of our little bubble.
No, I get that.
And, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong with shit like that. But, that's a psychological and emotional journey that I'm not in the mood to go on today.
I don't think that's about doing something wrong. It's much like Erin understands
But I have to think, if this is a constant throughout my life, what have I done? Where I have to be doing something or not doing something. I don't know.
I think not being a part of something like that means that you're probably not fulfilling some expectation they
Maybe.
have. But you don't exist to fulfill other people's expectations of you.
True.
So I think that Erin, in this case, she understands that. She understands that she's not going to be invited. Sure, it's going to sting. She has other problems.
Mm-hmm.
She has children to deal with at home and finding babysitters for her because they often flake out.
Yep.
And, she has this case to deal with. She has bills to pay. She really doesn't. Even if they asked her to go out to eat, she probably wouldn't have the money to pay for it.
Probably, yeah.
But being asked is important.
It's important to be asked.
So, yeah, that lets you know the isolation that she's going through at this job, which she's put a lot of time into.
Yes. And they actually, Ed fires her at one point because when she starts to research Hinckley.
Well, she asked if she could research this.
And then disappeared. And that's because she was doing her research. She was traveling and going from home to home. And he saw it as her partying, and she lost her shit on him. And I don't blame her, because I would have lost my shit too. I would have been like, listen, bitch, you think I'm out partying? I got 3 kids at home. I'm out here trying to do what you asked me to do. I asked, can I do this? You said, cool. And I said, sure, I'm going now. Bye. I'm going to go and do the research.
Yeah, and I think that was a bullshit move.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't mean it's right at all. It just means that's what happened. And she does come back.
Yes.
Because he finds her paperwork and says, oh shit, what is all this?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's starting to get wrapped up in this case. So Ed now has to bring her back.
Yes.
But she wants a raise.
Yes.
She wants benefits. She doesn't get the benefits, but she gets a raise.
True.
10%.
Better than nothing.
And they'll talk about benefits later.
More than a teacher gets on a yearly pay scale jump.
True, but you don't know where she started out.
Yeah, but we don't get 10%.
Yeah, but you don't know where she started out to get that 10%. Is 10% of.
Oh, I know, but it's still like we'll get like a 10%, but it'll be, or no, we'll get like 5%, but it'll be like 2 point something one year and 2 point something the next.
So a lot of the emotional things are built around the Hinckley residents. The people who have told Erin their stories and the things that are happening to them. And probably one of the highlights of it is when Erin has gone to this house before and has not been able to get in because the woman will not talk to her. And you can see that the woman is mostly done.
Yeah.
She's just done with, maybe she's fought the system a little bit and it's spit back out, in her face.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, well, someone knows because they know her story personally.
Yes.
Because this is all real.
These are all real people.
And Erin brings her children with her. And the one time she brings her children with her because she has no one to watch them, the woman lets her in. And you find out she has her own children. She's got like 4 or 5.
I think so.
Something like that. And in each of these instances, it's almost, I don't know if they did this on purpose. Surely they did. With this one, with this visit, they're playing with water guns.
Yeah, and then the one time there's the pool. So
the pool in which the woman races out after she finds out how dangerous her own water is and gets the kids out of her pool.
Yep.
Because nothing strikes fear in a parent like something happening to their children. Yes,
and to a certain degree, that's kind of where Erin strikes, and it's such a smart move because it's
not really her striking. She's pointing it out.
No, she's pointing it out. But I mean, that's to get them to really see. She's not there to manipulate them. She's there to help everybody get what they deserve for what's been done to them. And
she wants to champion their cause, not because she'll be a champion, but because they have a cause.
And I love how the first thing she says to people is, no, I'm not a lawyer. I actually hate lawyers. And yet, you know, she's working for a law group.
It is a big selling point, though.
It really is. And she is able to use that everyday persona, you know, that she is, not persona, but it's who she is, to help her case for those families, because they've been burned, or they haven't been burned. They probably have seen on TV or have heard nightmare stories of people who have relied on lawyers to help them, and the lawyers either suck them dry and they get nothing in the meantime. Because that's the first thing you think of is, you know, I need a lawyer for blah blah blah. Well, the first thing you're thinking of is, shit, I can't afford a lawyer. So to, you know, finding out that, especially like when they have the big town meeting, and Albert Finney Ed speaks to them, and they're all like, well, yeah, well, how much do you get? And she's like, how much do you get if they don't win? And he's like, I don't get anything.
Well, in the smaller meeting.
Oh, in the smaller meeting, sorry. Yeah. And that's important, that they needed to understand that.
Sure, he gets 40%, but
he doesn't.
She pointed out he gets nothing if you fail.
Yeah.
If he fails, nothing changes for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Except you just keep getting sicker or whatever. But she doesn't say that. It's implied.
Yeah.
And he gets nothing out of this.
Exactly.
But if he wins, he gets 40 and you get the rest.
Yes. And y'all will get the money to pay for your medical bills, to move to another area, to do what you need to do to have a better life than what you currently have.
Keep in mind that this is over years.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And it changes. So Ed Masry is going to take on another partner.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a toxic tort lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he does. He's brought in to help the case, so he becomes a partner on this case, which he's higher profile. He's probably a lot more expensive.
Yes.
He's definitely higher in the hierarchy of lawyers. He's up there above Ed Masry. And so this is going to affect the amount that all of them get, because, you know, you have Ed Masry was going to get 40. Well, now he has to share that with Kurt Potter, who is Peter Coyote. And you never know. I mean, no one, I don't think anyone said, I tried looking it up earlier to see how much they got.
Yeah,
for that, but they don't really disclose all that. They give general amounts, but I don't want to forward just like blatant guesses.
Yeah.
But, you know, they made a fair amount. They didn't lose anything.
No.
They lost a lot of time. Erin, of course, lost a lot of time. And it did kind of cost her love, but not really, because I think they were better off being friends.
I think so. I mean, I know the heartbreak, though, that she felt when she found out that she didn't hear her youngest baby's first words.
Oh, yeah.
And that's devastating. I always used to tell people, don't tell me. If they say something when I'm not here, don't tell me. I don't want to know that that's what they said first, where they said it first. I want to be the one who hears it. So,
right.
I was not very sentimental about a lot of things growing with my children, because I was like, kids are kids and that's what they do. But the words were just important to me.
As you get older, it becomes more important.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you know that those were the last times you get to hear that child say their first word.
My biggest regret was not recording my oldest's cry. He had a very distinct cry that even the nurses commented on, and I can almost hear it.
Was it like a whippoorwill?
No. He just had this little squeal, but it was like, I can't explain it. But
like a cat? Something in the dark?
No. It was a baby cry, but it was just a little...
okay.
But it was different. And none of the other two had that. But I do have a picture of my middle one doing the little lip thing that they used to do. So, you know, some things you do have, you get to keep, but then other things you lose. And especially
you just have to hold that memory.
Well, you know, but it's hard to remember a sound.
Sure it is, but you can...
Especially when that sound disappeared very quickly.
Even as memories tend to fade over time, you still hold those emotions to that memory. So even if you can't remember exactly what was happening or what the particulars were of that scene, you hold the emotion for it. So I think that's okay too. I think it's fine if you can't remember every little thing, because we've gone through, I mean, humans have existed without photographs, without recordings.
Oh, yeah.
And yet they still hold love and compassion for each other.
So we used to always say that the dead grandparents, that their ghosts lived in the closet, because all the babies, when they were really little, would always stare at the closet and just like babble at it when they could babble, but before they could babble, just stare at it. So we used to say that all the ghosts lived in the closet, but all the grandparents lived in the closet.
I'm so glad that closet has a lock on it.
I'm so glad we don't live in that house anymore. They had its own problems.
So, how did you feel seeing this the first time?
I didn't know who she was. I knew that it was based on a true story, and that was all I really knew. Looking back, I was emotional in the sense that I did have young babies at the time. So 2000, I had two. I had the older two. And obviously, it'd be weird if I had the oldest and the youngest at that point.
That would be weird.
The youngest wasn't born for another 2 years, but I think for me, it struck me as the single mom thing, even though I wasn't a single mom at the time. It struck me as her... I could see her frustration and those families, and especially the family with the little girl. It was this was a very hard movie for me to watch the first time, because knowing what I knew then, I didn't even know what I know now, but knowing what I knew then, I know. I know. And trust me, it gets weirder. No, because of all of that and just the person that I was then, again, this movie struck me in a way that I didn't expect. I just thought it was going to be a lawyer movie, a Julia Roberts movie. I did not know what I was walking into. And I was very impressed by it. And honestly, I don't think I've ever really watched it outside of that time. I watched it then, and I don't think I've watched it again until just now.
Yeah, no, I get that. So I saw this on television.
Mm-hmm.
I had no desire to see it. I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah, well, I watched it on television. It was cable, yeah.
It happened to be on one of the cable things, and it had commercials in it, so it wasn't even a full movie without the commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just left it on because it was there.
Yeah.
And it does pull you in. It's weird. Like, even if you don't care about what's happening to her personally,
mm-hmm.
because at the time I was hyper extending that whole manhood thing, trying to fulfill this role.
Yes.
And I just couldn't connect to Erin's story through the children, because I was still in my whole depression and missing my son. And I knew that this wasn't going to be helpful. So I did tune out emotionally for a lot of this.
Yeah.
What did capture me, though, is I did not realize from the start of this movie that I was going to be swept up in this Silkwoodian kind of fiasco.
Yeah.
Because you if you don't know about Erin Brockovich, if you're not familiar with the story, it is really easy to get deceived into thinking you're about to walk into a movie that is about a woman 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a fun romp. It's going to be about her life and her kids, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But it
turns
pulls
out that
you in with the law.
Just.
It pulls you in with the Hinckley case.
Mm-hmm.
And you start attaching things to it, because a lot of what Erin has dealt with in her life that has made her the person that she is, unfortunately, is this toxic kind of masculinity.
Yes.
Which pervades her every action.
Yes. That is, to me, like, one of the frustrating things is the way the men treat her. But I love the way she stands up to them. She does stand up to them. And she's like, if I was a man, would you even question these things? Right.
And, it leads back to I was a pageant.
Mm-hmm.
I was a beauty queen.
Yes.
And, that's that playing of the misogyny that in the patriarchy, all that really matters is, are you pretty enough to catch the eye of a man?
Mm-hmm.
And she did that a couple of times. She got a couple of men and they got her pregnant. And she deals with the aftermath of those actions while they get to walk away.
Yeah, and that's one thing she says. Is do you think that the two men who gave me these 3 children, that they had one thought in their head when they walked away of what I wanted? And again, looking back, I feel that on such a deep level. When I separated with my ex, I kicked him out for reasons. And that's another story. But I had 3 children. All I had under my belt was a high school diploma and a few college classes.
And Moxie. You got the Moxie, kid.
So I had nothing. And then I thank God for my friend Kelly, who gave me a job and a home and, a place to go to. But I remember my ex telling me, oh, well, I'm taking classes at college for art. And I'm going, you're fucking taking college classes for art? And I can't go to college. I can't, because I can't barely even afford daycare and anything else.
And he's not paying child support.
And when I did go to college, what did I do? I did phlebotomy because it made sense, because I could get a job with a phlebotomy certification.
Legal vampire.
So I didn't even when I went back later on to college, I did education because it made sense, because it's what I'm good at, teaching. But if I had my druthers, I would have a freaking English literature degree, and I would be, I don't know, just studying the masters or some shit like that. I don't even know what I would be doing. Maybe I would do like that chick on TikTok who has the master's degree. Piper. She has like a master's degree in folklore. I want a fucking master's degree in folklore.
I want a master's degree in folklore.
But I couldn't make that choice because I had children, and I had to think of what makes sense. And even though I graduated later in life, I still had to think about that. I had to think about a logical job, not a fantasy job. I'm not a 20-something who can go out there and try to have it, to make a whole career on hopes and dreams.
Well, your decisions as you get older become less branches off of a road and more bumps on the road.
So, did they think about me when they walked away and what I wanted? No. They don't. And that's my biggest thing about men is, and this is nothing against all men. I don't want all men to be pissed off because I'm saying this. But there are so many men who have children, whether they are married or they are not married. They have children and they walk the fuck away. And then they bitch about child support. Well, bitch, you ain't there every fucking day. You're not the one who's feeding them and making sure they get up every goddamn morning, and whether or not they're wearing the right pairs of shoes for that day because it happens to be gym and not wearing sandals that day. Or if they needed to have an extra, $5 for a party. You're not there doing all the detail work. You went off and had a different life. And while, yes, I may expect you to pay your fucking child support, that's your penance because you're not here for the daily. You made that choice. I didn't get that choice. And then people are like, well, yeah, but women could walk away. Mm-hmm. I know women who have walked away, and you know what? They never got to see their children after that.
Walking away has different implications for women than it does for men.
Well, the 2 women that I know of who actually tried to run away from a relationship, not their children, but the relationship, they were labeled as abandoning their children. And they were actually banished. They were not banished, but they were banned from seeing their children.
I just said there's different implications.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, yeah, that's it. I was just giving details for that. And so, yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous. And so, yes, I have a lot of anger about that. And I can tell. And I can relate to Erin.
So with Erin's, entire arc, which is trying to give her kids a better life.
Uh-huh.
Her kids are the ones who have to suffer through all of this. While she suffers quietly, they suffer loudly. And they are looking for attention from her. They're they're young, so she's missing key moments, like you talked about her baby's first words
was ball, which is so funny that it was ball.
And those are things that the children pay for.
Oh gosh, yes.
Whether or not they understand the reasons why isn't really the issue. It's that we have a society in which that is a necessity, that you don't have any other choice.
Yes.
But to, soldier on and just miss your children. That's what you have to do. So Erin is working daily trying to get these signatures from every one of these 639?
Yeah, something like that.
People, because PG&E, I guess, sat with the judge that there must be a 90% sign rate for the class action suit that they're filing.
Yes, it's not normally that much. I think they said it was normally 60%.
60, yeah. And that, now it's 90%.
Because PG&E did not think that she was going to be able to do it. That the lawyers were not, that they were going to be able to get that many people, let alone all of them, to sign.
Right. In a lot of ways, PG&E actually kind of played this straight up. Now, I'm not saying they did play it straight up. I'm saying in their way, corporations now would bury you. They wouldn't just bury you for filing. They would bury your entire life for existing.
Oh.
They would bury you so deeply, you would never even realize you're in a mine.
Oh, definitely.
So the fact that PG&E actually was able to be beaten is a big indicator of where we are now, because you would not be able to do that now.
God, no.
I think Erin's job now, where she advocates, and she also has a company that is dedicated to finding a lot of environmental issues, but a lot of companies taking advantage of the people around them, is that it gets so much harder every year because the lobbying is done by those with money, and those with money are the corporations.
Yep.
And they get to act as their own principal interests, which means in many ways the law sees corporations as human, but not so human that you can sue them.
The law sees corporations as humans, but not women's bodies.
Right. and that is very true, that corporations have more rights as human beings.
Yes, they have more autonomy.
Than any cis woman would have, yes.
Oh, yeah. Because without going on a major tangent, they are, this one political person, congressperson, I was reading it yesterday, that he declared that women should not be allowed to go to college until they have had at least 2 children, and even then. Yeah, that they should be bred. Because if he used the word bred.
No, I get that. But if he's betting on, if you have 2 children, you will never be able to go to college.
But anyway. You can't. Yeah, I didn't go to college until after my children were much older.
I know, but he's betting on that, which is the only reason he said you can go at all, is to make it seem like you have a choice without actually giving you a choice.
Exactly. Pieces of shit.
Okay.
I'm cranky today.
It's a given. You really are.
Just men.
With good reason, though. Because, this is a serious subject. It is hard to find the laughter in this.
Yes.
I can't think of any funny moments in this.
No.
Because there's no real levity involved, except for maybe towards the end when Ed gives her bonus check.
That is funny.
And she completely, because she's rightfully so, expecting men to lie and fuck her over.
So she had negotiated an amount, which I don't think they say how much she had asked for, as her cut. And
as her bonus.
As her bonus. So he comes in with the check, and he's holding the check, and he's like, so I want to tell you that, this isn't what we had negotiated, and this is, and she's like, so you're saying that I am not worth all the work that I put in? And she just, I felt it deep in my bones, because I know that would have been my jump too. And he's just smiling. He's got a little smirk on his lips, because in his mind, he knows he's riling her up.
He knows her enough to know what's happening. Yes.
Yeah. And so he puts the check on her desk, and he walks away, and she's still going at him, and then she sees it says $2 million. And then he goes, because earlier on, she does something for him, and he doesn't say anything, and she's like, I guess they don't teach you how to say thank you in law school? And so this time, he turns to her, and he's like, so I guess they don't teach you how to say thank you in charm school, beauty pageant school, or something like that?
Charm school, yeah, something like that, yeah.
And she's like, thank you.
That's one of the things I really liked about this movie, and I don't know if it was that way in real life.
Yeah.
I like to think that it was, but I think I'd like to think a lot of things. But Ed and Erin in the movie, had a very contentious...
Father-daughter.
Yeah, father-daughter kind of relationship, because you don't hear her ever talk about her parents. And I think it grew into like a deeper friendship where she still gives him shit constantly, but he relies on that. Mm-hmm. He relies on her to make him a better person. In his way, he is that cranky father, and he does love her. You can see that. And Erin is allowed, and she tells you what she thinks about you, even if you are her father.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think he appreciates that, because he can be surrounded by yes people all he wanted to. He just has to pay them to do that.
Yeah.
But this is the one person who's standing up to him and telling him flat out, you're wrong, and that we need to be better. No one else in that firm is doing that with him. Yeah. And he wasn't even a large firm then. It was just a small mid-level firm with a few people in it.
Which is why he got the other dude involved. Yeah.
Right.
Trying to see, someone sues her after the case, the Hinckley case, and I want to say it was her ex, but I can't remember if it was both of her exes. They tried to, she sued for libel and slander. She was sued for libel and slander by her ex-husband, Stephen. He claimed that she falsely stated in People magazine and The Star that he failed to pay child support for their daughter. But also at one point, they sue her because they said that, oh, yeah. So Erin's first husband, Sean, and her ex-boyfriend, George, along with their lawyer, John Reiner, were involved in an attempted extortion case against her and Ed, because they said that they allegedly demanded money in exchange for not telling the media that she was a bad mother and that she and Massery had an affair. So George and the first husband and John Reiner, all sued her they tried to blackmail her into saying that she was a bad, for money, saying that
they would impinge her. In other words, they would lie about her.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe they weren't such good friends afterwards. I was just looking at the wiki for that. So
George Hallaby, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's spelled different than I think it is in the
Well,
the
in the movie, it just says George.
Yeah, and this is Jorg.
Jora?
No, Jorg. Hallaby.
Oh, no, not the same person.
Her ex-boyfriend, George Hallaby?
Well, this George is spelled George,
but unless
Wikipedia got it wrong.
It might have. What's his last name? Does it say?
Does not say.
Okay.
Aaron Eckhart.
So, but they both denied it. The charges against Brown and Hallaby were dropped, but Reiner was convicted of extortion. So the lawyer was actually convicted of extortion. He probably incited the other two to get involved. That was in 2002. Huh, that's funny. Her ex-husband was a that motherfucker. He was a Reno stockbroker, and she fucking couldn't get child support from him.
Yeah.
Asshole. See, and that's the stuff that gets me.
I don't think that was the same George, because George had a brain tumor shortly after the movie, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, hon.
And they never mention his name. And I'm looking at an article in the Vulture right now, which I guess I'm going to be posting now that I mentioned it. Damn it! I got hoisted by my own petard.
Hoisted up by my own leotard.
So I'm looking at because now I'm curious and we're talking about it randomly.
I know.
This is from Erin's own words. Because everyone asks, "Are you still with George?" You know, that kind of thing, and I'm looking for it right now. Give me just a moment. Please extend this out by
talking. No, I had remembered seeing something, and I couldn't remember if it said George was involved or not. But like I said, it's spelled Jorg, and it's Hallaby is the last name, and I don't know if that's duh. That's so simple. I can just Google. Is it the same George as the George in the movie?
Well, here. This is Vulture's interview. It says, "I'd like to ask about another character in the film. How do you think Aaron Eckhart was as George? And this is her reply, George has passed away. George and I, right at the time the film came out, weren't together. George had a brain tumor and there were a lot of things going on that I don't think a lot of us understood. George was a very unique man and he was so great with my children. I wouldn't really have been able to, in my opinion, have given as much time as I did to the Hinckley investigation. Mm-hmm. And I had become as obsessed with these people in the situation of what was going on. And had I not known that George was there for my kids. I have a joke and I say it's because George even knew about it. He'd go, 'That's so classic and that's so you.' It was never meant to be an insult, but I always say that the real George looked a lot like Aaron Eckhart. I would never have kicked him out. I mean, because that's hot. Goddamn like woo. And George and I had that kind of fun, unique relationship. I did forget about George at times, and to see that dynamic play out was nice. It was great. Julia and Aaron Eckhart did a great job. So I think true to form.
But I did find out just now that it is the same George. He did pass away after the lawsuit debacle is what it says. Okay. Reportedly due to a brain tumor, despite his actions to sabotage, that she forgave him. So, it was the real, so George George in the movie is really Jorg Hallaby. And he is the one who was part of the blackmail lawsuit.
So maybe this has more to do with our perception of characters,
but I think
and
the lawyer,
real people.
I think John Reiner. I mean, since it was dropped against George and Stephen with the first husband, I think that it was John Reiner who was pushing the narrative and got them involved, and that's why he was the only one who was convicted of extortion.
Yeah, very well could have been. Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know. I didn't go that deeply into the research, but yeah, okay. It's sad, but sometimes people see dollar signs and I have a feeling that those lawyers just did not ever respect her for what she was capable of doing because she didn't have the degree and she didn't have the knowledge that they had, and that tends to push people off. And I'm going to tell you a little secret, people. Education isn't everything. And as much as I love my education and I'm very proud of my education, I would still probably be the same person, just one less degree, two or three less degrees. And I would still be the same person. I talked like this then and I talk like this now. So it really has nothing to do with education. And I can pull out the high speech and sound like a textbook and talk like I actually have a clue, and then other times I talk like I am still living in the ghettos, which I never lived in the ghettos, but I can act like I did. And so
I can speak Klingon.
Oh, lucky. I want to speak Dothraki. No.
Dothraki?
Yeah.
A lot of umlauts.
Hell, I can't even speak Pig Latin without having to stop to think about what I'm saying. I worked with a teacher who, her and her children, like her own children, they did that at home all the time. It was like a game for them. And she could speak Pig Latin. So she would like say stuff to me in Pig Latin for me, because we didn't want the kids to know it. And I would be like, Ole, what? But see, then I worked in another school, and the teachers there, we would spell everything backwards. That was easier for me. So if I spell things backwards, it's because we had kids who could, even though they couldn't spell and they couldn't read, they would recognize things. So you couldn't say the BUS. You have to say the SUB.
Yeah, I think it's funny that teachers have developed their own codes.
Oh, yeah.
For discussing things around children.
Because you have to. To a certain degree, you don't want to get their hopes up for things that you can't follow through with, or you don't want them to know about at that moment.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you've developed this code talking,
and a lot of them have their own way. A lot of teachers have their own way. I just noticed that when I worked for that one school, that it was all severe and profound. That a lot of the teachers in our group area, we all did the whole. And now I can, like I said, I could spell backwards. And it was funny because when I had my own classroom last year. My TA, I would spell backwards because I was so used to spelling things backwards. And she'd go, wait a minute, I can't do that. Because it wasn't something she was used to either. So, yes, we do that.
Okay.
Language.
So how do you think this will do on the Castellini test?
So, I think it will pass because we do have, I think all of the boxes are checked. So I do think it will pass.
I think the boxes that are there will definitely get checked. That's my belief.
Oh, yeah, no,
let's go through it and let's see if that happens.
Okay.
There have to be at least 2 named women characters with at least 5 lines of dialogue each.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw out the first 2 that pop into my head, namely Erin Brockovich and Donna Jensen.
Right. Then we have Brenda from the Conchetta Farrell actor. So.
And the
Pamela Duncan.
And Teresa, the lawyer.
Yeah, we have several people, so we have at least those. Those characters must have a conversation, not necessarily with the other woman, either not about their partner or with their partner, future or current, and not about their relationship.
Done and done.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
The only time that they ever talk about relationships is mostly her and George, and it's her telling him no, and then him going, the fuck, and then them going, I'm out of here.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
This is not a story about romance and finding that one true love. This is about fighting for others' rights, those other people that have families and husbands and wives, and they're losing them.
Yep.
So I think in a lot of ways, Erin is... So when Erin is... What's she eating? Carrots. Sliced carrots out of a can after she gave her kids food at a diner because that's all she can afford to do.
Yeah.
She's kind of doing the same thing in a larger format here, whereas Erin suffers losing a lot of time with her children, a lot of time with her own relationships because she's trying to help these families keep theirs.
Yes.
So that's a direct
correlation there.
To the entire thing. And I think that's, I think that had to have been put in there on purpose for that, right?
I think so. I mean, she definitely is, she is very self-sacrificing because she does sacrifice her time with her children and, over the families that she needs to, because she's got to travel a lot to get to Hinckley and to go from home to home. And there are 600 plus families that she's got to. And
this is over years.
Yeah. So yes. And she did miss a lot of time with her children. And I think at the one point when her son is looking at the papers, because George she asked him to come and help her with the kids while she's finalizing the lawsuit. And he's about to take the kids out for breakfast, and her son, he sits down and he's looking through the papers, and she's like, please, I got those organized. Please don't mess them up. And he goes, well, this little girl's the same age as me. And he goes, yeah. And she's like, yeah, she's really sick. Well, why doesn't, and I'm trying to help her get medicine.
Why doesn't her mom help?
And why doesn't her mommy get her medicine? Because she's like, I'm trying to help her get medicine to make her better. And she's like, well, her mommy's sick too. And I think that's, kids are so smart. And he was now at that age to understand what was fully going on and why she wasn't there. Because you could see he was also angry with her.
He wasn't happy with her even in that moment, but he also understood. And that's why he asked her if she wanted eggs.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of letting her know.
It
sucks, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah, because he wanted to do something and she couldn't agree to it because she wasn't going to be around to take him.
think it was like
roller hockey or
roller
something like that.
hockey,
Yeah.
or just roller skating or
Yeah,
something.
something like that.
So, let's look at the last one. At least one of the women has to be integral to the plot, meaning that if she were written out of the film, it couldn't reach the same ending.
I mean, it would be really weird to have a movie called Erin Brockovich without Erin Brockovich.
Well, because the movie Ed Massey is just him going to lunch.
Yeah.
You see at the start of the film, he has Julia Roberts playing this person he doesn't know. You know, she's just there. He loses the case. He goes to lunch.
The end.
End of,
Ed Massey, movie.
Head of Ed Massey.
Oh God.
So, I think goes without saying that without her, and even without Donna Jensen.
Because Donna Jensen was the catalyst for her, really. Because that's where that was the first person she really spoke to in the movie, and it's the person who gave her the information to really catapult her into investigating.
She's also who contacted other people.
She did.
That she knew personally and got them to talk to Erin.
Yes, because if she had not done that, it would have been harder for Erin to go and investigate.
If not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to talk to anybody else.
No, especially, she's an outsider. She's not part of Hinckley, and she doesn't know what we were dealing with. And now, even she works for a lawyer.
I want to make this very clear. In many of the cases, a lot of these places are not middle class white people that get this done to them.
No.
In most cases, these places are in the areas of marginalized people who are lower income, and they suffer through this in relative silence because no one is listening.
So, we're saying California, and I know that if you've not lived in California, immediately your mind is thinking of suburbs, and you're thinking of LA, and you're thinking of the higher end of things. But as people who have lived in California, there's a lot of not affluent areas of California, and Hinckley is not an affluent area.
They're just people like everywhere else.
Just trying to struggle.
A lot of these people live in, of course, in some of the places we were in was rural, mostly.
Oh, yeah.
And these are lower income people who are barely making it, having to work at places like freaking McDonald's and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And Hinckley looked to me in the movie like where we lived.
Right.
And I have to look it up on the map. I don't know where Hinckley is particularly, but it looked like the San Joaquin Valley. There are actually parts where I have to remind myself that this is not in the middle of the Dust Bowl.
Yeah,
because the wind is blowing and it is deserty, and I'm like, oh my God. But I lived there. I lived in an area that was very like that.
But the Fresno area, there's a lot of impoverished people in that area.
Oh, yeah.
And yet you do have a very big affluent side to Fresno.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I think that people tend to think that this is in the middle income, and it often is for lower income people, because that's where they build those things, is in the lower income areas. I just tried to put both words together, lower income, which just makes it sound dirty. But lower income areas are often the more industrialized areas.
Yes.
And that's where you see that runoff happening. But it's not always. And in a lot of rural areas in America, we have white towns that also suffer that. Mainly not because of their, the color of their skin, but because you're isolated, you're rural.
Yes.
Who are you going to complain to? And would you even know that we're killing you?
So Hinckley is located in the middle of the southern part of California.
Yeah.
So it was.
So in the more impoverished areas.
Yeah, definitely in the more deserty areas.
Yeah.
I don't know how far south the valley goes, if it runs the gamut of the state.
It runs pretty long.
Okay, so they might be in the southern part of the San Joaquin.
I'd say it stops before the San Diego area.
Oh, right before San Diego? Oh, then they most likely were in the middle of San Joaquin in the southern part, because we were in the northern part of the San Joaquin, because we were about 2.5 hours west or east of San Francisco.
So let me get this out of the way real quick.
Yes, no, go for it.
It passes a Castellini test.
Yes, it does.
In case anyone was wondering,
Sorry.
because we were just going to keep talking and never go back to it.
Here's the thing. Doing a nonfiction like this, it kind of makes me just want to keep doing research.
True, and I keep looking different things up. I think it's insightful that one of the most common questions she gets is about her relationship with George,
When there's
and
so much...
not about all of the other things that happened.
I want to know, did Annabelle, did she die? I'm assuming she did, but...
Well, I mean, I assume a lot of these people, they were older. They probably
But
aren't.
Annabelle was the little girl. So I don't know if she, did she go
things
into remission?
happen in life is what I'm saying.
No,
You
I
don't
know.
really
I'm just saying, like, but did she go into remission? Or was she sick and died because of, I don't know. I don't know enough about...
I'm kind of doubting they used real names.
Well, yeah, I doubt they use real names. I'm just saying, I want to know what happened to the,
Sure.
her, that little girl, because that breaks my heart. When our youngest was 10, we had a tea party for her birthday, and her friend came over, and her friend was a twin, and she had cancer. She was actually in remission at the time, and a year later she passed away. So I just, little kids with cancer just fucks with me hard.
Yeah, no.
Fucks with me hard.
So ultimately, this movie is about emotions, but it's really playing on the watchers, the viewers' emotions. It's not really telling you about their emotions. Erin is closed off, not because she is cold,
No,
but because she has to be, because she's trying to do a job and get it done, and she doesn't want her children to know how she's suffering, listening to these stories and documenting all the work that she goes through. She's trying to hold it all together and doesn't really share that with her children.
No, and I think the most emotion we see from her is when she finds out that the baby said her first word and she wasn't there, and she's in her car. And that, I feel like, is when you actually see any kind of emotion towards her. The realization that she's missing out.
Right. And that just sucks that cis women have to deal with that aspect pushed onto them societally, that you're trained from birth to always worry about others, serving other people, including your own children. Now, I think it's great, it's fine, but you shouldn't be expected more than the other partner, than the people in your lives. They should have that same expectation placed upon them, but that is not how it works out.
I also think the other part that really bothered me was, I think it's Donna. Donna ends up getting cancer.
Yeah.
And she says, I don't have a uterus, and they've taken my breast. Does that still make me a woman? And that broke my heart, because yes, it's not about what your body parts are. It is not about your body parts. It is who you are. And so that part upset me too, because it was, the movie's in 2000, B, it takes place in the 90s, but C, no, it doesn't.
That's deeply not misogynistic.
It's very, and
even on her part, it is that idea of misogyny is just throughout our culture.
But even Erin was like, no, that's not going to make a difference. That has nothing to do with who you are. That's just superficial shit.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Sorry, your eyes are red, so I don't know if it's...
no, my eyes are burning me. I'm having an allergic reaction. Catboy, I haven't spent time with him in a while.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. We're talking about an emotional podcast, and I see your eyes are red, so I'm worried that you're getting upset.
No. I was petting on the cat.
And I guess we should be.
Oh no, and I did get upset before, because my Catboy has been neglecting me because of the baby. He doesn't like the baby, and I mean, he will eventually, but right now he doesn't like her, and so I got to pet him. He came up and sat on my lap for a little while during the podcast.
Got you sick.
And it made me sad, because I haven't seen my Catboy, and so I did get a little teary-eyed then. But
okay.
Yeah.
It was about a cat.
It was about a cat.
It's going to be okay.
He's gone now. He's mad at me.
Well, he's not gone. He's still alive. He's
just not in the room. He's just, he took off.
He didn't die.
He didn't die.
During the podcast.
No.
It's fine. You're going to be okay. I don't know, man. This movie, it is a mix of... It was a good movie.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's surprisingly good, I will say, because every time I even think about this movie, I get bored.
So here's the thing. I forget that that's Julia Roberts and not
Right?
Erin. I mean,
Except for one moment where it shows her face and she's got makeup on and it's really bright on her face and her eyelashes are very distinctive and all I can focus on are her eyelashes.
Oh, she has the 90s, the light eyeshadow that was prevalent in the 90s that, oh dear Lord. How? Why? Why did we do that to ourselves?
Her eyelashes are so symmetrically, like,
oh, yeah, I know.
It's weird.
She's so beautiful.
It freaks me out that I'm like, what happened to you genetically to get that to happen? Did they breed it into you?
Oh my God. But she's still beautiful no matter what. And honestly, Erin Brockovich herself is very pretty.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Yes.
That's the issue, is that pretty was what everyone based everything on Erin for, was how pretty she was, what they could get out of her. And it was always, like a thing she had to fight against to get any. Her biggest argument wasn't that she was going to lose pay. It wasn't that she was going to lose, when George brought up the wanting her to quit and get another job.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the pay. And it wasn't about that when she was mad at the very end. Mm-hmm. When she didn't get her bonus, is that she wanted respect.
Oh, yeah.
It had really nothing to do with the pay, but the pay was an indication to her of the respect that they find for her. And she doesn't feel in much of this movie that she is not being respected. She's disrespected by the jury. Mm-hmm. She's disrespected by Ed several times. She's disrespected by the people in the office.
Oh, yeah.
She's disrespected by her exes who walked away.
Yeah. The one secretary, I mean, she asked her an honest question. Well, if you don't know how to do your job, bitch, that's not what she asked you about. It wasn't about doing her job. She had a question about a file that she didn't understand. That's not her fucking job. Her job is to file, not to analyze. She had a question about what was going on in the file, which was a legit question. If it's an open file, then she should be able to ask questions about it. It didn't say confidential or anything like that. Right. But, yeah, there's a lot of times where I just wanted to reach out and smack people because of the way they did treat her. But it's the money thing. It has nothing to do with the money, getting the money. It's just knowing when you come from nothing, you think that people see your worth through dollar signs. I do it too. I had nothing. And even now I see, well, if I get paid this, then I must be worth this. Now I have this degree, so I should be able to get this type of money. But if I don't, then do they just not respect me? Or, so there's this, it is. And then there's the whole, the glass ceiling thing. Women still get paid less than men. So women tend to see their worth as, do I get paid equally or more? And it shouldn't be that, but it's the business
inherent
world.
In the system.
It is. It's inherent in the system of the business world of my worth is shown to me. It's shown to me.
Yeah, it's also tied to the entire idea of the patriarchy in the first place, is that you matter less because of your gender.
So you're not going to get paid as much as a man doing the same job as you.
Right.
Which is bullshit.
And even, like, there are levels of this, I don't know, misogyny, but a lot of it can be aimed towards gay men, stuff like that. But you're valued as less if you don't fit an ideal that society holds as ideal. Well, because when you say, what is the ideal type of person? And many people the first thing they will think of is a white man who's a Christian, who is cisgender and heterosexual, and he's wearing a fucking suit with the little tie thingy that pushes the dimple in.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of those things. And that is what they think most times, because it's inherent in the system that white Christian cishet men are the ideal and the thing by which you should be reaching, but you will never attain because you are genetically inferior.
Well, I mean, and that's why all oh God, I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Raspberries.
All derogatory slurs towards men, feminize them because women are seen as wrong.
Oh, that's very true.
It's so funny how women are what men want, but we are also despised by men because we are who we are. If we weren't despised, again, feminine, derogatory slurs would not be thrown at people as hateful. And, it's really funny. I'm going to just throw this one out there. This is a rough quote from my dear beloved Betty White. From my dear beloved Betty White, that it's funny how they call somebody who is weak a pussy. You try pushing a baby through that shit. You try pushing a baby out and tell me how weak that shit is. You carry yours on the outside. So guess what, bitch? I'm pretty sure I could nut you and you'd go down before you could even think of reaching the same pain levels that I can. So yeah, that's not a direct quote, but Betty said it better than me.
She probably used less.
Much less. And while she did like the curse word once in a while, she probably used a lot fewer than I do. But needless to say, I am obviously on a rant today. So,
I can see that.
If you would like to watch Erin...
I am very chill, by the way.
So if you would like to watch Erin Brockovich and complain about it the way I do... It's not about the movie, because honestly, I have no faults with this movie. It is about humanity right now. You can catch it on Starz, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Google Play, Fubo, Apple TV, Sling TV, and Fandango. Either subscription or rental, but we couldn't find it anywhere that was not a rental for $3.99.
I'm pretty sure you made some of those up.
I'm pretty sure I did too.
Okay. This has been Once More with Feelings with Beth and Michelle. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at OMWFPod. Visit our page at oncemorewithfeelings.podbean.com or send us an email at omwfpod@gmail.com. Take a moment to subscribe and rate us on wherever, iTunes, whatever you hear us on, rate us on that. That's fine. You'll
Get the ratings.
You'll figure it out. Just subscribe at the bell or something. I don't know.
I don't know how they do it anymore.
We're old. We don't know technology.
And keep an eye out, because we do have, hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe in the next month, I don't know, it's all going to depend on me, a possible new podcast coming out. So
yeah, you're going to co-produce this one.
Yeah, more than the half-assed job I do with this one.
Well, you're not co-producing this one, you're hosting.
No, I'm
one.
hosting, but hoping to be able to do a bit more, and again, a lot more research involved in that one. So again, maybe I won't half-ass it. So here are my clues for next week's episode. This movie was inspired by a song by the Psychedelic Furs. Also, and I kind of agree, that the actress who led this movie hated the prom dress that she had to wear. And honestly, I think we all hated that dress.
Okay.
And, yeah, so that's until next week.
Sounds good. It's going to be interesting. Actually, my research on that movie is 3 times thicker than the Erin Brockovich, because when you're dealing with emotions, there was a lot less paperwork for Erin Brockovich. Yeah. This is not really about them. It's about the emotions you bring.
Yeah.
And that they pull out of you. And the other is exposition of emotion. So I think that's, I gave another, that's another hint, another clue.
Hint.
A lot more, I don't know, general than you would like, I'm sure. You would like the name of it, and if you want the name, email me at omwfpod@gmail.com and I will give you the answers for $5.
No, she won't. She ain't got that kind of money.
Don't listen to her. Just do it.
Until next time. See you later, guys. Don't get caught in any Superfund site.
Chromium 6 is delicious.
Chromium 3.
No, Chromium 3 is
the good stuff.
I was going to say something smart. Can't think of anything.
Bye.
Why are y'all here? Get the fuck out.
Go home.
Let's be honest here. $20 million is more money than these people have ever dreamed of.
Oh, see, now that pisses me off. First of all, since the demur, we have more than 400 plaintiffs in. Let's be honest, we all know there are more out there. They may not be the most sophisticated people, but they do know how to divide, and $20 million isn't shit when you split it between them.
Erin.
Second of all, these people don't dream about being rich. They dream about being able to watch their kids swim in a pool without worrying that they'll have to have a hysterectomy at the age of 20, like Rosa Diaz, a client of ours, or have their spine deteriorate like Stan Bloom, another client of ours. So before you come back here with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker. Or what you might expect someone to pay you for your uterus, Miss Sanchez. Then you take out your calculator and you multiply that number by 100. Anything less than that is a waste of our time. By the way, we had that water brought in special for you folks. Came from Well and Hinckley.